Hiya. Welcome to today's edition of Kathy's Corner. Sorry it's been a few days. I'm not even sure how long. Actually, I had a friend come into Commonwealth last night and we were talking about the videos, and I was like, yeah, I'm just doing them when I feel it now, and kind of at a loss for what the new schedule is or what it means, but I'm just letting it ride. I'm going with the flow. So recently, in the last week, I had someone bring up the name of someone from my past. It actually happened a couple of times. And I made a brief comment about it, and they came back with an attitude of like, well, it was a 50-50, destruction of friendship. So, you both own half of that. And I was like, uh, breath. Okay. I didn't say anything. I just shut my pie hole and thought about that a lot. And truth of the matter is, I wanted to defend very quickly. I was like, no, that was not a 50-50 breakdown of friendship. No, nope, nope. But I'm mad. Now I'm angry. I'm real angry. Like all of a sudden, this like flood, the first mention of him, I was like, yeah, whatever. It was, of course, a little from the past. Of course, it bubbles up when you have somebody pop back up in your thoughts or physically in your presence. And you're like, oh, that one, all the swirl of everything that went wrong and who did what to who and how it ended and what other people said and who sided with who at the end and whose friends got who, and the whole mess of it. It's like vomit, and it's all over the floor, and it's right there in the form of a human, and you're like, ugh, oh, here we are again, right? And when I was still in it, in the grief and the anger and the recovery, I thought, I didn't think it would ever get better. And then, of course, over time, and I've been doing a lot of work, it started to get better. And I thought, okay, well, there's been some recovery here, so I'm okay. I'm okay. I've moved past. I'm being more stoic. I'm picking it apart. I'm making sense of it. I'm changing my patterns of behavior so that I will never suffer under that kind of hand of, whatever word you want to use, abuse, devastation, viciousness, manipulations, lies, alcoholism, all the good fun stuff. But I was mad, really mad. And nothing had happened. I hadn't seen them and they weren't back in my life, and there's no more conflict that had occurred. It was literally just a side comment by a mutual friend that got me livid again. And I was like, geez, what is that about? What is that about? I don't think I've forgiven them. And unlike in AA, where you hit some step number 6 or whatever, and you have to go and ask people for your forgiveness and make amends and blah, 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 blah. It's not happening here. I know it's not, because how the friendship broke down was under the manipulation of grand lies and deviations from the truth, which is another word I'm looking for that starts with a D. Deception, a lot of deception. And I don't believe that has changed, and I'm not going to attempt any personal connection to reach out. There's a vulnerability there that I'm not going to open up, period. Not happening. Maybe one day. I'm not saying forever, but for now, nope. So where does that leave me? That leaves me over here, as long as I avoid that person's name or thinking about them or any part of the past, or dealing with any friends who are mutually involved still with them, or, then I'm safe. I'm safe from feeling angry. I'm safe from feeling hurt. I'm safe from, angry. Angry is the one emotion. Devastated and angry are now out of my normal life. And boy, it felt weird. It felt weird to have this. Even talking about it right now, there's this thing in my, right here, and it's just a ball of burps and rage and frustration, and it feels like acid vomit. It's bad. So I reached out to a friend who is a trauma therapist, and I said, I'm having trouble with this forgiveness thing. How do you forgive? How do you give me resources? Is a YouTube lady who talks about this? Is it Brene Brown? I already listened to her. It didn't help. Where's the resource that can help me? Because I do want to add note this to say, I do believe that therapy is important for everyone. I think that we've all gone through trauma and we all have a lack in our communications and understanding of ourselves that therapists can help us work through. And if you have tried it before and didn't find it to be successful, I advise trying a different type. There's a lot more modalities now. A lot of it is more sensitive to what your needs are. I mean, like, obviously, you know, a raging heroin addict doesn't need what someone who has been abused in their childhood needs. Versus someone who is suffering from debilitating anxiety or is going through a medical condition that is forcing them to face life or death. Like, there's a lot of different forms of getting stuck in the mud, getting stuck in quicksand. So that said, through my therapy, I've been making advancements, but this feels like one place that's still a very, very, very raw wound. And so she sent me a resource of a couple books, one of which I'm already 82 pages into, and it's called Forgiving the Unforgivable. And it's a resource I recommend if you feel like you have had, I have not quite absorbed all of the jargon that the book uses, but there's like a grand break, and it's a break in the moral contract that you have with an intimate person in your life. Now, that can be parent to child. These could be things that are from your childhood. It could be husband to wife, spouse. It can also be friend to friend. It can also be coworker. And in fact, to some degree, the friends and coworkers can have an even more devastating effect on you personally because you're choosing them. Parents, of course, you don't choose. You're just in that family. And in the case of, you know, a marriage, there's so much time and contracts change over the course of time, and it can be a lot more complicated. But in the friendships, you're not sharing homes, and, you know, there's a lot of other shared items and responsibilities in a marriage that a friendship doesn't have, and why a friendship break can feel even more rattling to your core. And it really does make you question all of the morals and ethics that you feel about the world. I just hit the point, I think page 82, has actually stopped reading right as we got to the like workbook section of the book, which is digging into some questions about what the wrongs were, what they mean to you long term, and, you know, the effects of it, and blah blah blah. And there's certain types of things. And I tell you though, as I was reading through, it was just so eye-opening to me. There are some immediate situations I think of where breakdowns in our moral contract occurred, and there has been a complete disengagement from those humans. That said, it has basically happened once a year to someone in my first layer of orbit, my inner circle of love, for the last 5 years. There's been too many of these, and they're exhausting. And some of them even happened while I was still rattled from the devastation of the other ones. And I don't know that I have any more insight on how to deal with it. I've just gotten up every day and tried to keep going, and it has made me have stronger boundaries. And there's like I forget what they call it, but the time right after one of these happens where there's all sorts of like the receiver of the injured party will act out in all kinds of different ways. And it was very interesting to read in print. Just a boop, 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 all the things that I did in some of all of the cases of the last 5 years, and some in specific cases over the last 5 years, and then going back to childhood. There were breakdowns in friendships back then that were nearly identical. So it's a repeated pattern for me, and I can't change what other people do. I can't change. I can't fix you. I can't change you. I can't make you see the light of your errant ways. I can't get you to recognize your addictions and overcome them. I can only recognize my own faults, flaws, and make myself a better person. And I do wish the people who have wronged me in the past, I don't have a lot of ill will at this point anymore, but given the chance to sit back in that anger, I will, obviously. And I didn't know that that was still such a sensitive little spot in my heart. I thought that I had grown and recovered, and A very wise man once said, progress is not a straight line. And I felt like I had ascended up, clicking up the roller coaster hill. And this was a little bit of a drop for me. A surprise. There's like, often we think the coaster's going to go one way and you go the other. So forgiveness. If you don't even believe in the principle of forgiveness, or you believe that only certain people deserve forgiveness, or you believe that some people got what they deserved, no one gets what they deserve. There's a lot of philosophical arguments to be made about someone who's a child molester or murderer, but you can't take back what they did. And they're usually sociopaths or psychopaths, so you can't actually make them feel the way that their victim felt. Can't be done. I'm not saying to forgive everybody. This is not a sermon about that. This is me preaching to you to find the resources that help you overcome your obstacles going through this life that's yours. It's your matrix, and it's affected by all of the people that surround you, and their actions and their decisions and their betrayals can have a very lasting effect and carry through into the next relationship and the next relationship, and they can alter the relationships you currently have. What a coworker does to you at work can change how you deal with your marriage. The book didn't specifically tell me that. I've just lived it. When you lose trust in others, yeah, but in yourself. I stopped trusting myself. I stopped trusting my instincts. I stopped trusting my choices in love. And I'm honestly kind of shocked right now as I sit here that I can count on all my fingers and all my toes 10 times over the amount of people that I love. Love unconditionally. And I still trust. And those have been hard-fought understandings and boundaries, and maybe one of them will betray me. Maybe 1 out of 100 still has it in them to just turn their back on me and tell me what a jerk they think I am, and a selfish loser, and a manipulator, and a liar, and a user, and a, whatever. I've heard a lot of things in my life. But I know who I am. And I'm starting to love me a little bit more. And the book hasn't mentioned this part either, but I'm pretty sure there's big old giant bucket of forgiveness that one person deserves the most. And I haven't had any clue how to give it to her. This guy right here. Boop. This one. So I didn't get everything right, and I trusted the wrong people, and I let things go on too long, and I didn't call things out when I saw them, and I overreacted to some things, and I didn't acknowledge other things, and. There's got to be a breath of forgiveness inside for me too. So I hope this book, Forgiving the Unforgiven, Forgiving the Unforgivable, a lot of forgivables, is going to help me with that. It's also opened up a window into an area. It's a junk drawer I need to clean out. I said that to Colin last night. I'm like, just keep dumping junk drawers, man. So my forgiveness junk drawers apparently needs a little bit of cleaning up. So that said, I'm off to Monteros tonight. It's a Wednesday night. I got Thursday off. I had a little bit of sun earlier, but it's still another gray day. I've had a lot of those in a row. And to me, those are exhausting when there is no sunshine physically coming into my room or my life. But the days are getting longer. That means spring is coming. Yay! So I'll take that for today. Anyway, thanks for joining me today in Caddyland. It's a almost 15-minute long babble, so it's one of my longer ones. Maybe I'll just do longer ones less often. Sorry if you only had 12 minutes to watch this and have missed the end. Anyway, have a great week, and happy early Valentine's Day to everybody. Love is love, right? So don't hate the holiday. Just love. Make fun of it. You need to. Or lean in hard and get some flowers and chocolates.